Alright UFC, it's time. The heavyweight title has been held up for far too long, and after the performance that Tom Aspinall had last night defending his interim heavyweight title in literally 1 minute, there is absolutely no course but this one, and it needs to be taken. I'm Tommy from MMA On Point. A massive thank you to our channel Hall of Famers for their continued support, and it's time to strip Jon Jones. We are living in unprecedented times. The sitting president of the United States just backed out of the coming election in November. So UFC, you can back out of the fight between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic in November. It's what this country needs to heal. Aspinall has now fought 3 times and won and defended an interim title since Jon Jones has been away. And not only that, but he won the 2 title fights in about a minute. Sergey Pavlovich was everybody's next big thing pick, and he crushed him. He had 0 problems with blades last night. You cannot tell me with a straight face that Jon Jones beating Cyril Gane nearly 2 years ago in a division he just entered for vacant gold because the last champion left unbeaten has more claim to the title than Tom Aspinall. And you definitely cannot say Stipe Miocic has more claim to a title fight right now versus the champion. So either make the fight between Jones and Aspinall or strip Jon. The former would be preferred, but if the UFC is hell-bent on the fight between Jones and Miocic, and it appears that they are, it absolutely does not need the title to be the legacy fight that they want it to be. And it's not like you haven't stripped Jon 3 other times before, or stripped heavyweight champions. You did it to Couture, Barnett, Sylvia, Mir, and Ngannou. One of those situations almost perfectly mirrors this one. After Frank Mir's motorcycle accident, interim champion Andrei Arlovski was forced to defend interim gold, and then finally, after 419 days of inactivity, the UFC stripped Mir. It's been 512 days since Jon Jones last fought, and yet at the post-fight presser, things were full steam ahead on Jones versus Miocic, with Dana excited about the winner taking on Aspinall. But there's a few problems with that hypothetical. One, Dana himself said that he thinks Stipe retires after the Jones fight, so if he wins, he's not fighting Aspinall. And 2, he thinks that Jones would fight Tom, but Jon has expressed more interest in light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira or just flat out retiring. You are risking losing a potentially history-defining bout between Tom and Jon if you let that fight with Miocic go ahead. And look, I am the biggest Stipe fan ever. If this fight between them happened a few years ago or wasn't for gold, I would be so on board. But at this point, this whole thing is ridiculous. Ironically enough, White said they'd be stupid to not have Aspinall as the backup for that fight in November. So maybe the whole thing will end up working out anyway. But believe it or not, Tom Aspinall winning is not the only thing that happened last night. So let's talk about the rest of what mattered at UFC 304. If you saw our discussion video about the main event this week, you all heard how big a fan of Belal Muhammad I am, and so yes, I was having a great time last night after the fight, basking in his victory, knowing that so many of you were so angry. Personal feelings aside though, I think the biggest takeaway from Belal's victory is that there is still a place for merit in a sport where most people believe that entertainment rules over everything. Now, it's no bed of roses, to take a line from Queen, for guys like Belal. A more marketable fighter would have got his chance a few years ago. Ironically enough, before Headshot dead, Leon was in the same boat, being held back because nobody wanted to see him in a title fight either. You could actually take it back to Usman before he was champion as well. All 3 of these men proved that being the best and winning can still get you to the top, and is ultimately what matters. You may not like Belal Muhammad, you may not have liked his performance, but he more than earned his shot at that title. He went out there like a man on fire and absolutely earned that championship definitively. And unlike so many other aspects of this sport that are driven by who is the most entertaining or who has the most followers on social media, if Belal can keep winning, he's the champion, and nobody can take that away from him unless they earn it. Speaking of earning it, Paddy the Baddy just had the best win of his whole career, and it could not have been timed better for him after a rocky run over the last few fights and outside the cage. He didn't beat up an aging star, the judges didn't hand him a victory, he got a real finish against a real ranked opponent, and there's nothing any of us can do but hand it to him. It was a great submission. It was a great win, and he's earned that number 15 he'll be getting next to his name on Monday. He just re-upped with the UFC this week as well. I think it's safe to say that the baddie isn't going anywhere anytime soon. After the card, Dana both praised England's crowds for being special and faulted the 7 decisions in a row for their lack of the usual enthusiasm. But call it a hot take, I think it probably had more to do with it being an ungodly hour in the morning because the UFC refused to adjust the time of the event event for the UK. They're a massive market now, one of the biggest in the sport. You brought these two hometown champions in, you charged £6.7 million at the gate. If England is really special to you, and you say you want to keep having cards there, the least you can do is start the event 5 hours earlier. Is that really going to make that big a difference to your bottom line? I mean, you go to England like twice a year maybe. At this point, given the size of the operation, and not to mention the insane fan base who will watch any damn time of day at home, if the UFC is going international, bite the damn bullet on these times for the local crowds. You made $1.3 billion last year. I think you'll be alright with slightly less buys on international cards. We already gotta drudge through soulless Apex shows. I want to see those UK crowds at their singiest and loudest, damn it. I could go on, but those were really the big takeaways from 304. So now let's look at some nerdy stats that encompass the night and hand out some awards to the best in show. The UFC's first event in Manchester since Bisping defended his title against Henderson saw 14 fights with 2 KO TKOs, 3 subs, and 9 decisions for a total cage time of 2 hours 47 minutes 47 seconds. 8 favorites and 5 underdogs prevailed on the night, including of course your new welterweight champion. Modestus Bukauskas via third round submission was a plus 4,500 outcome. Just one time I wish I could get one of these bets. Just one time. Arnold Allen has now absorbed the 5th most significant strikes of any fighter at 145 who has never been knocked down. That was the most takedowns that RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez has landed in his UFC career with 4. He also landed the least significant strikes of any fight he's gone the distance, but still managed to make a bloody mess of everything, earning him our true nickname award. King Green has exactly double the pro bouts of Paddy the Baddy with 50 to his 25, and to contrast that, Pimblett earned 6 UFC wins in 6 fights, a feat that took Green double the bouts. Tom Aspinall's average UFC fight time after last night is 89 seconds. He already had the all-time record. He shaved 41 seconds off his average with his victory. And finally, new champ Belal scored the most takedowns on Leon in his entire career with 9, held him to the least significant strikes of any of the 7 bouts that went 5 rounds in his career with 47, and earned the most control time of any fight against Leon ever with 12 minutes 2 seconds, earning him our Put Some Respect on the Name award. And put some respect on the incredible editor of this video, Max Randall. He edits all the autopsies so we can get them up bright and early for you the day after the fight. Show him all the love on his socials, and go check out his awesome YouTube channel. Another huge thanks to our channel Hall of Famers. I would never strip any of you of your titles. If you want to be a channel member too, hit the join button. There's a ton of really cool exclusive content. Like and subscribe to never miss an autopsy. Leave a comment down below about what you think should be done with the heavyweight title situation. And thank you so much for watching, guys. It's on to the next one.